What is good, puckheads? I hope everyone is having a good weekend or start to their weekend so far. Welcome back into another episode of Pens and Pucks. As always, I'm your co-host Jordan, and I'm joined by my co-host Nick. How are you doing today, Nick?
Good, Jordan. How are you today? It's Saturday. It's hockey night. Hockey night.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Some decent games on tap today too, so I'm feeling it, man. Feeling it for sure.
Awesome. Okay, before we get to our topics today, just a real life story this morning. So I walked into the gas station, and everybody has to wear masks, right? So this is going to be a new segment of our show. Okay, we're gonna call it something. So walked into the gas station. Everybody has to wear masks. I walk in. I grab a coffee, and there's a gentleman there, and he has a plastic bag as a mask, like wrapped around his face, right? So going forward, when we're talking about the Penguins power play or anything like that, the segment is going to be called this. What do you call that? What do you call that? So that's the face. Right?
Oh, that's
What?
the face you made when you saw that?
Yeah, I'm like, what do you call that, bud? Like, forget the plastic mask. It ain't going to work. Anyways, just want to say thank you to all the frontline health workers out there that are doing a good job. But jabronis like that, what do you call that?
Yeah. And then you end up giving them the Ghostbuster look.
Right,
So
right.
so that's hilarious. Oh my god.
So when you asked me about the Pens power play from last game, it's what do you call that, man? Like, look at that, look at those eyes, right? He seems confused. Right?
Hey, he saw a spook, a specter, or a ghost, bro. What
You
do you
got
expect?
it. You got it. You got it. Yeah. So another thing we talked about, I think it was offline or last episode or whatnot, was we talked about jerseys, right? So I pulled this out for you, Jordan, because I know you said that this was your favorite
Yeah.
jersey. Look at that. Remember that? Yeah.
I got the same one. Yep. Love
So
that.
so tell me about one memory about that jersey that you have.
Nedved. We talked about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Peter Nedved's goal, 1996,
Yeah.
against the Washington Capitals in Washington. Peter Nedved, fourth overtime goal.
Like 1:30 in the morning almost.
Yeah, I was watching with my grandfather actually at his house in the family room, and he stayed up, and we sort of woke up the house when that going off in 1996. And I think my grandmother got a little mad at us screaming that Nedved had scored. And if you recall, that Mario Lemieux got kicked out of that game for like third man in or someone like that. And Mario was buying pizza for the boys during the intermission and getting them all going. So good memories there for sure.
What cup run was it? It was 08 where we lost. Remember the Sikora and the Dominoes?
Yeah.
The commercials came out and stuff. Remember he's like at the press conference, they got the Domino's pizzas.
Yeah.
And taking the cheese off, right?
Yeah. You don't want that dairy there, right? You know what happens there on the bench, boys, when that happens, right?
No, you just go by the opponent's bench and all the way over, bro. That's what you do.
That or in the crease, right? Make a little mess there for the tendies. But you were at my house for that game too, right? The Sikora goal, I think.
Yeah.
And we went outside, we made a little noise, and woke up the neighbors there, right?
Yeah. And then the 09 when we popped some champagne.
Yeah. And we had like some creepers looking through our windows because they were like, "What's happening at that house? There's a party going on."
Yeah. No, I tell you, still to this day, my favorite, one of my favorite Stanley Cup memories of our I tell this story all the time of our travels. Was when we went because the last 2 years of the Stanley Cup when we used that Holiday Inn spot, right across from PNC or whatever. And you remember when we were facing the Sharks? And you remember me and you? We get into the elevator, right? And this guy, we ended up seeing him in the arena later on. Remember when after the game when everyone was leaving? Because if people don't know, me and my brother are literally we got like a 4-game sweep if you add in all the Stanley Cup games we've gone to since 08, right? We haven't lost yet, knock on wood. And Anyways, you remember that guy, the guy, and he gets
with the beads or the socks.
This guy's got the jersey. I think what was it? It was like was it a Thornton jersey or something? And he comes out. He's got the socks up to his knees, and Nick just looks at him and goes, "Maybe next year, bud." And I was like, "Oh, this is classic, bro." And he couldn't say nothing. And then we were leaving the game after we win. Yeah. And remember, I'm like crying because it's so funny. And we get to the elevator, and remember, everyone's just reaming on him and his buddy, and they're going back. And oh man, and was it it was the Sharks game before we met those jabronis at the escalator. It was not the Nashville one. It was I'm pretty sure it was the San Jose where when we were walking the "We Want the Cup" chants.
Oh yeah, it was
rumbling, bro.
Right. Even the buildings were lit up with Pens win, go Pens. It was absolutely insane. You know, with everybody watching the big screen on the grass in the parking lot there. It was awesome. It was a great experience. And then I think we went for beverages until I don't know, like it was like 4:30 in the morning when we rolled into the hotel.
Yeah, good time.
Remember we saw Steve Spott, the assistant coach from San Jose, at the patio, right? Yeah, loosened his tie up, and I'm like, buddy, you might want to use that as a noose because it's over.
No, and then remember in 2009 when we went to the bar, and we see we walk in, and there's Chris Chelios. Remember. You know, you got to be out here in Canada. You got to be 19 to hit the bars. You know, Montreal even younger. But those girls were not 21. That was on each arm of his, bro. Remember, there was a girl on each side of him. He's sitting there sipping. He's got his hair slicked back. And then I remember I walked up to the bar to get us drinks or whatever because I think we were there with Luca and his boy, right?
Yeah. That was the club was called Diesel.
Yeah. So I remember. I don't know if you're with me, but I went up. I think I went and got drinks for all of us or whatever. And I go up to the bar and I'll never forget it. This chick, she's like talking with her friend. She's like, yeah, some guy just tried to pick me up by telling me he played for the Detroit Red Wings. Yeah. He told me his name and I never heard of him before. And I was like, oh, these black aces are out here. They can't score on the ice. So they're out here trying to score in Diesel, bro. And I remember, that was hilarious. That was good.
Chelios was all tanned up, slick back hair. You know, his guns were flashing in his white shirt, right? And that club, there was a lot of Red Wings. Actually, that club is actually across from Max Talbot's, I believe at the time was his
apartment.
His apartment, right? So I think Talbot used to cross over once in a while for a few beverages after for post-game beverage.
Yeah, man. Good. Yeah. That was hilarious, bro. That was and the same
times.
thing. What was that in that Nashville when we came out of the Nashville game after we beat them and the Stanley Cup final after we beat them, what was it, game 2 or whatever? Mm-hmm. And remember we started harping on that because then we went to that bar that was when you walk out where the Lemieux statue is and then you go to the street, but then you make a left and you go to the bottom. Remember? And it was that bar with the wings and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And remember what jersey he was wearing? We talked about him. He was wearing that third line center Predator jersey at the time. Oh man. I remember us harping on him and we gave him the same spiel we gave the Sharks fan. Maybe next year, bud.
I think we.
There's still 5 games left. Yeah, buddy, we're up 2-0. Peke Rene can't stop a fucking beach ball in PNC. It's over, bud. Okay, pack it in.
Connor Sherry with the game winner in overtime, right? Yeah. We've had some awesome memories for sure going down to Pittsburgh. You know, I even remember we had a few beverages that San Jose win. So we're going to the Holiday Inn and we're crossing the bridge there because we walked. And I think the guy fishing in the middle of the night. I go right up to him. What are you fishing? Sharks, right? He's looking at me like I'm some lunatic. Right?
Oh my god!
I think we had too many Red Bulls of vodka that night. Right?
Yeah. And the other one was a non-playoff game when on the Valentine's Day game, where we took the ladies, your wife and then my ex at the time. We took and buddy, what was that? That was 09. Remember that was 09, right?
Was it 09? Yeah.
Yeah, because remember we were up like 2-0 or 3-0. We ended up losing, and then me and you remember we got up, and this is why I remember this. Remember we got up, and the guys behind us who were all silent all game until they won. We're like, remember what they said? Because we had to fire Terrian, right? We fired Terrian a couple days later. Remember what they said about us? We're getting up. They're like, oh, look at these guys. Penguins won't even make the playoffs this year. And remember when we won the cup, I said to you, I wish we could stand in front of those guys right now. Anyways, remember we're walking down the streets of Toronto. You're like giving it, and people are like, holy.
That was at Air Canada Center.
Yeah, man. Oh, bro, there's another time I went there. I don't know whether it was with I think it was with my wife, and we went to a Leafs Penguins game, and they're giving out like scarves, like Leaf scarves, and out the door, right? I walk into my pen stop, I'm like, oh, here you go. I look at it. I said, no, you can keep that toilet paper. What do you think I want with that? You know what I mean? And they look at me like, what do you think I want with that, man? Like, get out of here with your trash. Anyways, guys, hit the like button and subscribe if you are new here. Okay, so let's start off. Speaking of the Penguins, let's recap the week. It was a little up and down. Obviously, we had that big 3-2 win, to start off the week. And then on Thursday, against the Capitals again, they kind of gave us a little bit of a shellacking. Now, we made up, we came back on a 2-0 worst lead in hockey. And, but then it kind of got out of hand. Tom Wilson, who had been dropping F-bombs, you can hear clearly because there's no fans in the stands and just giving it to us. He scored the eventual game winner on the power play. And then they added, 2 empty netters that made it look worse than the game really was. Because again, we're getting what we want out of Jari. He had a save percentage of over 0.9, right? So we're getting that. He's not sitting in the 8s anymore. So when you look back at the week, you know what I mean? It was a chance to double up. The Penguins didn't. When you look back at the week, how do you view it?
Well, again, it was a split for us in Washington. A couple glaring things that come to mind when you look at the 2 games during the week is, and we talked about it last episode as well, is the face-off percentage. Mm-hmm. This is huge for the Penguins. When they have 50% or over in face-offs, they usually win the game. Mm-hmm. Another stat, looking at the last 2 games and games prior to, anytime the Penguins have 30 or more shots, they win the game as well. So if you're looking at a couple of stats from game 1, the Pens were 56% on faceoffs. The Caps were at 44. Mm-hmm. Okay, Pens had 37 shots. The Caps had 22. Yeah. PP was big on that game too as well. We were 1 for 2, and we had shots to the net, and we had a couple of deflection goals, one by Melk and one by Getzel. So we had pucks on net. Face-off percentages leads to puck possession. Yep. And puck possession leads to wins. So, the telling story of the 2 games, you look at the first game, a lot of good things happened. We pressured, we played on our toes. The Caps had 9 giveaways that game, Jordan. We only had 4. So a lot of numbers don't lie that game. We were aggressive. We created a forecheck, got pucks on net. 37 shots on net's a good shot total for a game. Oh, yeah. We had the 2 deflections. Looking back to game 2 of this week, when we lost, and again, it was a 5-2 loss. We talked about it on our show last night.
We were absolutely dominated in the circle, though. Right.
Yeah, for sure. And again, you look at the circle, face-offs, Caps were 61% compared to Penguins 39%. Mm-hmm. It was a 5-2 loss, but they scored 2 empty netters. So let's just say it was a 3-2 loss. Yeah. Shots, again, anytime the Penguins don't get over 30 shots a game, it tends to, be in a loss column for us. So they had 28 shots. The Caps had 35 shots. Our power play was dismal. And this is where it goes back to our buddy here, coming up again, what do you call that with the power play on on Thursday night, 0 for 4. We got back to making that perfect pass, not getting pucks on net, not going into dirty areas, not getting the greasy goals, playing around the perimeter. Sid's not firing the puck. I don't understand. He's getting open looks. He's looking for a more of a pretty goal. Get the pucks on net. Get some deflections. Get some rebounds.
Good things always happen when you get the pucks on the net, right? Like
100%.
rebounds,
Yeah.
whatever, a bobble, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you're right, man. I mean, the guy only had, it's kind of inexcusable, for the caliber he is when you got 18 minutes and 21 seconds of ice time and I'm only getting 2 shots out of you and I'm also getting a -2.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you had an assist. So it really should have been a -3.
Yeah. Yeah. I give them credit for coming from behind when the Caps took the 2-0 lead. It looked like it was over. And then, we had the shorthanded goal by Tanev that really, changed the game a little bit there. Credit to Bluger and Tanev. They're playing fantastic on the penalty kill. They're getting in the lanes. They're blocking shots. They're actually creating chances being shorthanded, which is great. It's good to see that we're, pressuring the D, especially on the Capitals, because they're looking for that one time with Ovi. Again, looking at Jari's performance over the week, I think it was, pretty good. He kept us in most part of that game in the second game, as well as the first game. But definitely some things to work on tonight to factor into tonight's game.
Yeah. All right. So if we stick to the game on Thursday,
yeah,
what's your offensive grade? Because my grade's pretty harsh. I'm giving them a D-.
Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, for let's. I mean, just based on the power play alone, they deserve a D-. Okay, the stuff you were talking about, you know what I mean? Look at we kind of gave a little praise on the first goal on Tuesday night from Malkin, even though it was on the power play. Was that 72 or 71 out there? Because he's getting in front of the net, he's getting low, and we didn't see that same drive, that same competitiveness, and not just him, from everyone. And I just you got to be better than that, man. When you're given power play opportunities, handed that, come on. And then you talk about come on, 39% in the face-off circle. That is freaking brutal. You're winning just a little over a third of your face-off. Like, come on, man. So I'm sitting on a D- for them.
Yeah. I wasn't as harsh as you. I went at a C. I saw some better things out of Teddy Bluger the last couple of games. I thought Tanev played on his toes. Sevier was somewhat okay. Not the first game there, and that's Lafferty's throwing his weight around a little bit.
But how bad is it when we're giving offensive grades and you're highlighting guys who played okay?
Right.
And they're in the bottom 6.
Right,
I mean?
right. But this leads me to a couple of stats that I want to share with Pens Nation out there and some of the hockey gurus and yourself. So if you look at our top 6, the last 5 games, and I'll just go over this quickly for everyone here. So
take your time.
Yeah, so Crosby right now in the last 5 games, he has 1 goal and 4 assists, and he's a +1. Okay. You look at Malkin, he has 1 goal and 3 assists with 4 points. He's a -6. You look at Rust. Ever since he moved on with Malkin's line, he's been quiet. He has 1 goal and 1 assist, 2 points in the last 5 games, and he's a -4. Right, so that's a telling story there. That unfortunately, he's probably can I get back on Sid's line, please? Then you got Jake, which he has 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points. He's a +2.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then you have Kapanen with 1 goal, 2 assists with 3 points, and he's a +2. And you also have Zucker, which again, this is he got hurt last game, and we have to bring up somebody to play in the top 6, and we'll talk about tonight's game and lineup changes for tonight. But he has 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points, and he's a -4. So combined right now, you have Rusty at -4, you have Gino at 6, that's 10, and then you have Zucker 14, and that's your top 6. Those are 3 of your top 6. So definitely an issue with getting scored on with Gino's line right now.
I mean, we've been talking about third line fixes, fourth line fixes.
Yeah,
it's because you're right. Bluger and Tanev have been playing a lot better recently together. You can tell there's some chemistry formulating there. Are we talking about the wrong line?
of what?
I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the wrong line that needs to be fixed?
Yeah. Well, I think again, if you go back to if I was behind the bench, and again, Sully's the NHL coach or whatnot, and I would be definitely looking at maybe putting Gino to the wing. Okay, trying that out.
You know how that's going to go over. There's going to be hissy fits.
Yeah, I get it. But he doesn't have to worry about playing in his own zone. He doesn't have to be worried about cleaning up and helping out the D. Maybe you try him with. One of the things I've been frustrated for years with the Penguins, and we've always talked about it. You have all these different teams. You have the Oilers going Draisaitl, McDavid at some points of the game, Giroux, Voracek, all these, Marner, Matthews. Why not try once in a while even strength, Gino and Sid? I know that sometimes they've tried it in the past and 1 or 2 shifts and things don't happen, but both players are go-to guys and they're both not going right now. I think Gino's game has picked up over the last 10 days. He's moving his feet a little bit more. He seems more engaged. And now it's the opposite with Sid. And you've said it all along is that when Sid's going, Gino's not going, right? Vice versa. It always happens. They never play at the same caliber, at the same time. So I think you're right in terms of, are we talking about the Bluger line being an issue or the fourth line? Right now, that second line's an issue, okay, getting scored on. They brought Czar up, Anton Reese up to that second line. He is not a second line player. He needs to stay at the bottom 6. Number one, he doesn't have the foot speed. I don't think he has the hockey IQ. He's not fast enough to get in those dirty areas like Hornqvist was. Again, they always compare Czar to Hornqvist. No way, no how. You see what Hornqvist's doing in Florida right now. He's wearing the A. He's leading by example. He's got lots of points. And I just saw an interview the other day with Joel Quenneville before their game, and he was praising Hornqvist like crazy, and that sort of, made me feel a little bitter because he was one of the main guys on this team.
Okay, let's get into the defense then.
Right. Yeah.
I started off last time. And actually I wasn't that harsh on the defense. Well, I mean, there's a few guys I'm a little harsh on, but for overall, I'm not as harsh on the defense as I was the offense. What's your defensive grade for against the Capitals on Thursday?
I was looking at them at a B right now.
Yeah.
Again, the score wasn't relevant to what the actual outcome was. They gave up the 3 goals, a couple mishaps with Letang's stick, on the PK there, on Tom Wilson's game-winning goal. There was an error with the 2 forwards that were poundly killing. They should have gave Letang a stick right away. You need to give your D a stick if he loses his stick or breaks it, because if you look at that deflection, if Letang has a stick in the lane there, that puck doesn't get to Wilson, and the score remains 2-2. As well as his stick blew up when we pulled the goalie, and then that's the 4th goal going in the net. But overall, I think their positioning. They played hard in the corners. Their breakouts were good. They held the line. They didn't give up the line. Cody Ceci laid out Tom Wilson again. I'm not expecting that from Cody Ceci, but I think he
had a decent game, man.
Right. And again,
he's been playing a lot better.
A lot better. His last 10 games have been fantastic. I always, I've said this before, when you're a defenseman and if you're not an offensive guy that's going to put up numbers, if I don't notice you on the ice, you're doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
So
agreed.
I gave them a B. What did you give them for?
No, I gave them a B-.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're basically the same, right? So I'm just being picky because I agree with a lot of the things you're saying. Again, I don't even have to get into what I think about Letang. It's crazy when we're seeing. I don't know, man. I think only what was it 2 or 3 of our defensemen were in the minus
for that particular game.
Yeah, I think only 2 or 3. I know Letang was 1. I think Matheson was a -1 as well. They're both -1s. I forget who the other one was, but I agree with you, man. I actually thought the defense played better than our offensive unit as a whole. Now, it probably would have been worse my grade for if Bluger and Tanev didn't keep looking the way they've been looking, and I agree with you. Lafferty's been stepping it up. So, our bottoms, even though I gave him a D-, the only reason they aren't on an F is because of what the bottom 6 did. But I even kind of hold that against them too, because if you're going to be relying on your bottom 6 to win games, good luck in the NHL, my friend.
I have to agree with you. Like, your top 6 have to perform, and your bottom 6 have to shut it down. Exactly. And if you can get some scoring off those,
it's a bonus.
Bottom 6, it's a bonus, right?
That's it.
You win Stanley Cups, you win games like that.
Yeah. The sad reality is set in for Jordan that we'll never ever have anything close to the HBK line ever again.
Yeah. So
or that sandwich. Yeah. That sandwich was ridiculous.
You remember that? I forget the place that it was called when we went down for that HBK sandwich. You're like, bro, they got the HBK sandwich. I'm like, who cares? Get me 4 Bud Lights. Right?
Oh yeah, it was Permenti Brothers, right?
Oh, that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That thing was massive too, eh?
Yeah.
Holy. Yeah. Oh yeah. This guy, as soon as he enters Pennsylvania state lines and we can get out of the car, the Bud Lights are coming out. And I love it how down there, bro, we go over it every time. I love how they're in those aluminum bottles, right? They say chilled longer, and we go out here, we get the brown. I hate brown bottle beer, man. I think the brown bottles do something to beer. I'm not a fan.
I'm a can guy.
Yeah, I'll take cans too all day. But hey, when you start drinking that Coors Banquet, that's when we got to talk, brother.
Hold on a sec. How about when we went to, they had the bar right beside the hotel there. I'm not sure if you remember that bar.
Oh, yeah. That's where we started off with the vodkas and Red Bulls. Yeah.
And Red Bull. And we had the Jaggers, and then they also had the Fireball as well. Remember that big machine Fireball? We're like, all right, Fireballs. Line them up.
Oh, my God. Yeah. But you know what I love about that city? It's like, I know everyone tries to say that like Toronto and Montreal, like meccas of hockey. Yeah. People don't realize how big of a hockey town Pittsburgh is, man. Yeah, like even random, women on the street. Remember we seeing homeless people in Penguins gear. You remember that? Like, like it takes the city over, man, and nothing will ever beat the taxi ride where we learned about Jaromir Jagr's love for gambling on American football, right? Yeah, Jesus, what a degenerate. All right.
It's a great sports city. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it is. It is, man. The only problem I have is they are okay with having a rapist at quarterback. Other than that, we're good in Pittsburgh. And not just a one-time accused, a two-time accused, all right? So goalie grade. What was your goalie grade against the Cap? Yeah, I know. What do you call that? Yeah. What was your goalie grade for the Capitals on Thursday? Because he got the highest grade for me. I gave him a B+.
Man, you're a tough teacher. Like you're like how do you get an A with Jordan? How do you get an A?
Buddy, you better put up 6 and they put up a donut, brother.
You're talking like Patrick Waugh, Martin Brodeur type performances. We got Tristan Jarry, bro. It ain't happening.
Well, no. Right? I would give Vanacek an A.
Yeah, really? I don't know, man. Did you see that goal Tanev scored? Right?
Hey. Who got the dub and who ate the L?
All right, okay. So I'm giving Jarry an A on his last 2 performances. I think
soft grader.
Well, hopefully, maybe he's watching this and maybe he's going to make him feel good, right?
A, right? I'm trying to motivate. You're trying to coddle over here, bro.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think I think there's, it's been a little bit of teary-eyed coddling since Latanga Malkin gave Crosby that picture last week. So, right, 1,000 games, right? The love fest continues.
Buddy, Travis Zajac just played his 1,000th game. All they did was give him a silver stick in an Instagram post and said, "Get on your way, buddy." Wow. You know what I mean? So
you sure that was a silver stick or was it a Sherwood? A nice wooden Sherwood. Okay, bud, take care. Right?
Okay. Yeah. So your grade for Jari?
An A. I go with an A. But you gave him a B plus, right? So we're almost on the same page there.
Yeah, buddy, I can't give you an A's when you eat L's, bro.
Yeah, but I think he gave them a chance.
I don't give participation trophies over here, bro. Hey.
He gave him a chance to win, and that's all.
I agree with that. Right? I agree with that.
Before the beginning of the season, both goalies. The Smith was playing Jari and giving us a chance to win. Now Jari seems to be a little bit more on top of his game, and anytime you give your team a chance to win, it's the guys in front of you that can blow it for you. Which, again, that timely penalty by O'Connor, that was a rookie mistake. We had 3 guys back. There was no need to hook in the gloves there. That's a call. They're going to be calling that every time. And that opened the door for Wilson's power play goal to win the game.
Yep. All right. So tonight, back to it. We have, up literally a week later, we're seeing them on another. It's hockey night. Yeah. Well, it's Saturday. It's live from New York. It's Saturday night hockey, right? Yeah. So, well, sort of, because you know what it is. Anyways, we're walking into this game. We highlighted how bad they were, in the face-off circle, right? Mm-hmm. The New York Islanders are tied for the 6th best team in the NHL right now in the face-off circle. Right. They have 52.5% up against our 50.6%. They have a better power play than we do, right? We're only converting at a clip of 15.1%. They're converting at a clip of 22.2. Their penalty kill too is also 10th in the NHL, right? 80.9. So that doesn't bode well when our power play is 26th right now. They're only allowing 2.32 goals a game, which is 3rd in the NHL. We're allowing 3.33, which is 27th. Yeah. And we talked about the shots on goal allowed, right? Yeah. We're allowing 29, which is 9th in the NHL, and they're allowing 28.3, which is 5th in the NHL. They're averaging 30 as an offense. They're averaging 30.1 shots on goal a game, and we're not even hitting that 30 clip. They're beating us there too. We're averaging about 29.6. So right off the bat, you highlighted shots on goal, how it matters always, for us at least. And then, we highlighted obviously we highlighted the power play, the penalty kill, and the face-off circle. How are you feeling heading into tonight?
Well, if you break down the first 4 games against the Islanders, Jordan, it's all about puck possession, and you're going to hear me say that a lot. You look at game 1, our percentage in face-offs, we were at 47%. The Islanders were at 54%. We didn't have any power plays that game. Islanders went 1 for 1 on the power play. We had 31 shots. They had 26. So we outshot them that game, but we did get the loss. Game 2, game 2, we won 4-3 in shootout. Malkin's late goal when we pulled the goalie. We had, again, 44% in the face-offs, 56%. So this is a glaring issue with the first 4 games we've played the Islanders. Their percentage in face-offs is unbelievable. They're a puck possession game. They stifle you through the neutral zone. They play good D. They make you force mistakes. They pressure our D. They pressure our wingers. Their D, if you watch them tonight, they'll be aggressive on the blue line. They'll pressure our wingers, and that causes turnovers. So it's up to Sully and the gang there to come up with a game plan to get that puck out. Game 4, Isles had 60% faceoffs, Pens 40%. So if you're breaking down the last 4 games, it's all about puck possession. We've had 35 shots in the second game. We won 37 shots in game 3. We won 4-1, and then when we lost game 4, 3-2, we only had 18 shots, but they had 60% of the faceoffs. The PP has to get going. The keys for tonight's game for me, Jordan, is number 1 is face-off percentage and puck possession. 30 plus shots, and our power play needs to go back to what we did against the Caps, and that's getting shots on net from the point, getting in front of Varlamov, creating havoc, getting sticks in the lane, and getting those greasy goals.
And I'll add another key.
Yeah.
It's time for Gino or Sid to step up.
Right. You know what, Jordan, I think 87 has to step up. I'm not a guy to call him out. He is one of the best hockey players in the world for sure.
And ever.
Got it. Love the guy. But there just seems something's off of his game. He's not moving his feet. Even on the power play, when we started going over the last few games, everybody was moving their feet. They're finding open ice, white ice. If you look at last game, Sid was standing still. And when Sid stands still, he's no good.
What do you think it is? Because every episode we've talked about this. Okay, you've coached, you've played.
Yeah,
I've played. What do you think it is? If you had to put your thumb on something, we've talked about, is he disinterested? But we all know he has that competitive drive. I mean, Lucas told us straight up. He's out on the rink before the coaches have even entered the building, and he's the last guy off the ice. What do you think? Do you think he's ailing an injury we don't know about? What do you think is going on? Or do you think it's for the past now, okay, let's call it just half a season, even though we're not half a season in yet, but the last season and a half have been under such weird circumstances, and there's just such a weird vibe to everything. Do you think it's thrown off his regiment? We know he's one of the most superstitious guys. Do you think it's just thrown his whole energy and his whole vibe off kilter? Like, if you got to put your thumb on something, and I'm not saying, go out on a limb and make a conspiracy theory here, but if again, you've coached, let's take away playing, you've coached, and you've seen players, go in and out of funks. We've seen this from him before too, right? Like a couple of years ago, he would go through this stuff. What would you put your thumb on that you think might be at the root of this?
I think it's right now just the Penguins organization. There's really it's stability. Okay, you have a new regime, like we discussed. There's been rumors flying around the last 2 weeks. There were rumors about Sid wanting out. Gino, Malkin, Letang. Rumors swirling if they're going to be on the move. I think Sid's the type of guy that wants stability, and the Penguins for a number of years have had stability with JR at the wheel with Sully. Things were going on the right track. 2 cups. I think stability right now. I think Sid's. Is he worried that Malkin's going to get traded or Letang's going to get traded? I don't think Kapanen's a fit on that first line. You know how Sid is. He's particular with his wingers. We've seen it in the past with Kunitz and Dupuis, right? Once
he'll take high IQ over high skill.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes he doesn't work well with speedy guys. That's why Kunitz always worked well with Sid, because he was a grinder. He was, good at cycling the puck, and Sid's very good at that, playing below the goal line. Kapanen is a speed guy. He's doing everything in full speed, and really Sid's one of those guys that gains his zone, starts setting up different plays in different areas of the ice. I really think it's stability, Jordan. I think he's there, but he's not there. And again, I'm not in his head, but yeah.
I got to push back on that for a sec.
Right, yeah.
But, buddy, you're played to play hockey, not worry about how the team's operating right now, okay? Right. And you pointed it out. We've had years of stability. Buddy, JR's been gone for like, what, a month? And this is shaking you to your core right now?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you started going off, and I'm not saying you don't make sense, but all I could think about was like, dude, if that's getting under your skin, how do you not get excited about who they brought in compared to what you just had?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Burke can build a winner. Hextall
Mm.
is a damn good GM. Flyers fans were telling us Penguin fans, you got a great guy there. And then obviously they made the prior hiring today too, made that official.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, there's got to be a point where, first of all, it's been like, this, what is this, like a relationship where the guys kept the woman happy for years and years and years, and now you've had a month of some in-house fighting, and she wants to pack it up and move out of town. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's kind of a soft, and I'm not saying you're wrong. It's kind of soft. Like
Yeah.
that's Charmin Ultra Soft. Like, focus on the ice, worry about. Listen, this is what I'm going to say.
Right.
Worry about getting back to what you were and worry about your game, getting it back to what it can be, and everything will fall in place around you, man.
I agree. All the soft stuff, we talked about it, the last week or so with 1,000 games, and but I do think it's a factor. Again, I'm not.
And I think you're right. I think you're right.
But it's time to play, and it's a short season, and every game counts. And
we don't have time for this pouting. You know what I mean?
One of the things, if I'm a Penguins fan, we want to win now. We're used to winning. 5 Stanley Cups in '67. We're used to winning. We're used to making the playoffs.
5 since '91.
Right. Yeah, we're used to making the playoffs. And if you're Sid, are you thinking, okay, he looks down the bench, he looks at the roster, and we posted this yesterday on Instagram. JR wants to get back into the NHL, which is totally insane that JR resigns, so many games in during a pandemic, during a shortened season, leaves us, out to dry here with the roster he's given Penguin fans is totally absurd. Now, he still does not want to say why he resigned, which leaves me to believe is that it had to do with a trade. He wanted to unload one of the top 3, and Mario and Burkle and David Morehouse said no, he resigned. Why would he want to get back into the NHL right away?
And from our talks, we basically think it was Letang.
I would think it's Letang, yeah.
I'm not going to put Sydney's name in there because I don't think he's.
Yeah, no, it was either Malkin or Letang. I think it was Letang, like you said. But just absolutely crazy. When I saw that yesterday, it really pissed me off because if you look at the players we've lost over the time here since 2018, Hagelin, Hornquist, we needed to get tougher. Ryan Reeves. You talk about that hit last night on our show there in regards to on Jankowski by Tom Wilson. If you had Ryan Reeves, he'll come off the bench and take care of Wilson, no problem. Right?
And how instrumental was Ryan Reeves on that Vegas Cup run that they lost on, right?
Right. So you look at Oscar Sorenquist from St. Louis. We traded him for Ryan Reeves, another good player that was on St. Louis, 3rd, 4th line center that would have been a great fit now with this team. He blew this team up from 2018, and we still haven't gone back from it. And it's pretty sad.
And our prospect pool is thinner than it's ever been.
Right. So, for Penguin fans, the future looks bright in terms of the hands we're in right now with Hextall, Pryor, and Burke. But we all know Sid's at 33 right now, turning 34. He wants cups. Forget about the personal awards. So in his head, is he looking down the bench and looking? Sid's hockey IQ, and he knows the team. He's probably saying, look at the jabronis I'm playing with here.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do I have a chance of winning a cup? And right now they don't.
No.
Right? And then also
they're going to be another first round. They're going to be another first round
if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, if they make the playoffs.
And that's ifs, right? We got a couple games right now that are on the go. We have Buffalo that's losing the Philly right now 1-0. We also have Washington up on the Devils 3-1. That's a game that
yeah. Have they even won with Hersher as the captain yet?
I think they won the last game. They beat I believe they beat the Rangers, didn't they? Or did they beat the Caps?
Okay, so they're what, 1-4, 1-3?
Something like that. You're really on that kid, eh? For being the
Yeah,
captain. That poor
yo,
guy,
man,
man.
that guy.
Holy
No,
smoke.
no. I'm not even on for him having the
Jesus.
seat. It's where, hey,
Right?
buddy. It's like where he was drafted at. I'll give the same guff to Nolan Patrick, bro.
What do you call that, man? You know what I mean? Like, you're on the kid. You're on the kid.
Whatever, bro.
Give him a break, man.
Hey,
Right?
buddy, I
Give him
don't
a
give
break.
breaks, bro.
Are they going to give
You
the
should learn that
captain?
by my grading system. I'm not here to give breaks.
Are they going to give the captain the PK Subban, Listerine, man? Forget it.
Why not, bro?
Right?
Hey.
So, yeah.
And you also got the Senators losing 3-1 to the Flames right now. Matt Murray continues to be the stud he is in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so let's look at the East Division for a sec here. Because so heading in tonight, the Islanders have 23 points. The Capitals look like they're going to win, and they're tied with the Bruins. And the Bruins, man, that 6-1 win was pretty. That was a big statement they made. I don't see us winning any game 6-1 anytime soon. The Islanders obviously had 23 points. The Flyers look like they're going to win, and they're currently tied with us 21 points. So it is a big game tonight in terms of the standings, right? Because to keep up with the Flyers and the Capitals and the Bruins right now, go get that W tonight, right?
Yeah. Again, there's games in hands too. I'm just bringing this up, Jordan. Just give me 1 sec here.
And I wanted to ask you this too, but while you're bringing that up.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at the North Division, okay, I think it's top heavy. All right. Like, I think it's the Jets, the Oilers, the Leafs. That's it. Okay. When you go over to the Central, I still don't know if I believe in the Panthers in the long run, but the Lightning and the Blackhawks and the Hurricanes, right? And you can't discount the Jackets. They got some talent. But is it fair to say when you look at, from 1 to 5 in the East, we might have the most competitive and evenly keeled top 5 teams? So the East might be the hardest division to win right now?
Yeah, I think the East is the hardest division. A lot of media have said the North in the beginning of the year was going to be tough, but like you said, I only see really, I really only see the Leafs and the Jets. I don't even put the Oilers in that category because
we'll get into that.
If you're looking at the Oilers, are you depending on Koskinen and Mike Smith? Yeah, Mike Smith is like 6-0-1 in his last 7 games. But are you really going to win a cup with Mike Smith? I don't think so. Freddie Anderson has a lot to prove as well. He hasn't won a playoff round. But if I'm looking at Winnipeg, if I'm looking at Toronto, if I'm looking at Edmonton, Toronto, Winnipeg, I like Winnipeg, the direction they're going. Halleback, they have some no-namers on the blue line. Pionk, he's playing really well. The trade with Dubois, he's just starting to play now from another injury coming through. They look like a solid team. So Toronto, Edmonton, Winnipeg for sure. I'd put in that top 3. Going back to the East Division, the important thing if you're a Penguins fan, you have to look at games played as well. Very, very important. We're at 18 games played. Washington playing today, they're going to be at 20. Islanders, we have a game in hand on the Islanders, so very, very critical that we get those 2 points tonight. Philly's a team you got to watch out for. They've only played 16 games. They're in their 17th game tonight. I really think 3 and 4, that's where Pittsburgh might end up. We're only 3 points away from Boston and Washington. But also they're saying too, Jordan, is that, if we're not able to crunch all these games in at once here because of the pandemic, they're going to be looking at, winning percentage. So that's very dangerous too as a Penguins fan because, right now we're sitting at a percentage of, you want to bring that up on your screen right now, Jordan? You can.
Oh, you're hitting me with the okay, hold on.
Oh, sorry. So our winning percentage is .583. So let's go down the list. Boston 667, Washington 632, Islanders are 605, Philly 656, and we're at .583.
Basically, it's not good. Is that what Nick's trying to tell y'all right now?
I think it's absolutely dog shit there, Jordan. Right. So Very, very concerning. If that does happen, I've heard through a couple of people that the NHL is looking at extending this season by 2 to 3 weeks to make up for those games for the teams that are on the COVID protocol. But if that does not happen, winning percentage is going to be huge.
To be fair though, a win tonight with the Islanders sitting at 0.605, a win tonight could bring us back into probably going to put us right around that range if we're at 583 right now, right?
Yeah.
It'll knock them down and put us back up. So even more. But I mean, dude, you look at Philly and you look at Boston right now, and I mean, I guess you could throw Washington in that. They're pulling away with that winning percentage, right?
Yeah. And if you notice, the one thing that that Islander team that we're playing tonight, if the goals against is in 19 games only have 45 goals against, that's pretty crazy. You look at the Bruins 49, and you look at the Penguins 60, but you look at the Capitals, they're even worse. They're at 65.
Yeah,
Right?
but and here's another thing, brother. Out of the top 5 teams in the division, you look at the goal differential for Boston, they're +6. Washington's at 0.
Right.
The Islanders are +6. Philly's +1. We're -4. And New Jersey, who's sitting in 7th, they're even better than us at -3. And we all see how Buffalo's been getting shellacked, and I've allowed 3. They have a goal differential of -7, so it's only 3 goal difference between us and a bottom feeder right now.
Right. That's where all these games, and especially this year with playing within your division, you can't escape that. It's every night. This month alone, the last 15 days, we played the Capitals, we played the Islanders. This is game 5 of a 7-game series starting tonight. We play tomorrow night against the Islanders at 5:00 as well. So game 5, game 6, you got to look at it as you got to win 4. You got to win 4, right? And 4 or 5. You got to take five out of the 7 games. Very critical game tonight. I know that talking about tonight's game, you got Jared McCann that supposedly might be in the lineup. That's going to step into the second line unit with Rust and Malkin. Also, too, there's talk of maybe Double A getting in the lineup. I don't know if you know who Double A is. Look out for Heinz 57, our boy Anthony Angelo, maybe coming in the lineup. Right?
Wow.
I love Double A. He brings a little grit. He's got a big body, something that we need definitely for a forecheck. I like to see the Spectator get out of the lineup. I think it's time for him to eat some popcorn again and get some other guys in the lineup.
Yeah. And I know you talked about like the goalie situation in Edmonton.
Yeah.
We'll get into them in a second, but sticking to us, can this team even do anything when you got guys like Marcus Pettersson and Mike Matheson in your top 6 defensemen, and as good as Tristan Jarry's been playing lately, Tristan Jarry as your goalie?
If you were to tell me what type of noise we'd make if we make the playoffs, very little right now with the roster we have.
Not even a whimper? Not even a whimper is what you're saying?
Well, it just depends on the matchup you get, right? I think if we fall in 4th and Boston comes in 1st, it's 1-4, 2-3. It's a wrap. Even with really good teams we've had in the past, Boston's always had our number. We're not good in Boston when we play there. And then Rask has our number. They play a heavy game. They got some good goal scorers. I really think we have to see what Berkey and Hextall do here the next few weeks, what they do to tweak the team to get it.
Do you expect us to be active at the deadline?
Yeah, for sure. I think they're gonna tweak that bottom 6. We're overloaded with D, like we said before.
We're never gonna find a legitimate top 6 forward, are we? In terms of winger.
Well, you're gonna have to dangle Letang to get that, and
show me where. I'll tie him to the stick. You can dangle him, bro.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to, to give up. You're gonna have to give up something to get something back. We talked about in the last show. It's confirmed that Jarry's in goal tonight. Okay.
He was the last goalie off the ice, or first goalie off the ice.
It's been confirmed by one of the media outlets in Pittsburgh that is at Long Island right now. But Sully seems to be mixing up a lot of different lineup combinations. Right now, you have Getzel, Crosby, and Kapanen. You have McCain, Malkin, and Rust. You have the Bluger, Tanev, Anton Reese line. And like I said, you have Jank between Sevier, Anthony Angelo, and O'Connor. They're sort of rotating through. That's what they did today in their pregame skate. But he's trying different combinations on the power play. I would really love, Jordan, before we get into the next topic here, is to see really Gino down low as the bumper in the middle of the slot. Use his big body to screen the goalie. He's good with his stick. He can deflect pucks. He doesn't have to skate into areas. He doesn't have to dangle. You can have a bumper guy beside either the left post or the right post. Try to get that one-timer in the middle of the ice as an option to Gino, and maybe have you have Rust on the right side for the one-timer. It frees up some space. And again, it gives Gino less time to think about how fancy he wants to be, right? Or even you put Sid in the middle. He needs to start scoring. He hasn't scored a goal since about a week and a half ago when he scored and it was even a fluky goal. It went off his stick as a deflection. I think it was Kapanen that shot it or whatnot, and he put his stick out and it hit his stick.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the next topic here.
Yeah.
Are the Edmonton Oilers for real? You take a look at a couple things. First of all, you talk about a top-heavy offensive team. You got Connor McDavid currently at 40 points, 14 goals, 26 assists. He's a +6. Leon Draisaitl, 10 goals, 24 assists, 34 points, and he's a +15. I wish we could have something like that on our team. And then, it's a big drop-off down to Nuge. He's at 19 points, and good old Tyson Barrie showing Leaf fans, hey, I can still do it. 18 points. And then Darnell Nurse, stud there. He's got 16 points. So it's quite the drop off. And 2 of the top 5 are defensemen when you drop down, right? So you also, when you take a look at the North right now, the Leafs obviously lead it 32 points, 21 games played. 15-4-2, a goal differential of +19. What does that feel like? And then, you go to Edmonton, they're sitting at number 2. They're 4 points behind. They have played one more game than Toronto. They're 14-8-0. They're a +14. And then Winnipeg, they've played 3 less games than Edmonton and 2 less than Toronto. And they're only 7 points behind Toronto and 3 points behind Edmonton. They're also a +15 in terms of goal differential. This begs the question, are the Edmonton Oilers for real? Because they're number 1 in the league right now in terms of goals per game. And that's the only, other than their power play percentage, which is currently at 27.2 and 7th in the league, and their shooting percentage, which is 11.6 at 5th. Those are the only 3 stats they have that are in the top 10 right now as a team.
So are you asking me if the Oilers are going to go on a long cup run?
I'm not even going to say necessarily cup run. Do you we talked about, the noise we could make if the Penguins made the playoffs. Now I know you talked about their goaltending situation. Is this a matter of they can make noise because their offense can make up for the lack of what they have on the back end in the net?
I think they can make noise in the North Division for sure. I think, with McDavid and Draisaitl, they can definitely make some noise out there. They have the high-powered offense that they can play that run and gun game, and the defense is somewhat suspect. I do like the acquisition of Tyson Barrie over the summer. I think he sort of got a raw deal in Toronto. He didn't really get his role that he had in Colorado. He was a number 1 power play guy, quarterback in the power play. He came to Toronto. Morgan Riley's there. So he sort of got the short end of the stick. I think with Edmonton, they were looking for that guy that can rush the puck, QB the power play with McDavid and Draisaitl on the flanks. Are you asking me if the Oilers are for real? I'd say in the North Division, if they were to get out of the North Division, I think they definitely have a hard time even winning a game when they cross over in the conference finals. I feel that about every team in the North Division. I think Toronto has to make some trades as well. I think Nylander's been sort of the whipping boy out here the last week or so. He came through the other night. But getting back to the Oilers, they're a two-man team right now. Like you said, Nuge is somewhat, he plays the wing. Who's your third line center on that team? Are they getting production from a lot of guys there? No. Their back end, Daniel Nurse, Tyson Barrie, Ethan Bear. But it comes down to goaltending. To win, you need good goaltending. And again, Mike Smith is spotty. He can be one of those goalies like he is now, trending well. He's 6-0-1. And then you got Koskinen. Isn't
he 6-0-0?
Oh, 6-0-0. Sorry.
He's got like a 1.73 goals against, a 9.44 save percentage, and 2 of those 6 wins are shutouts.
Right. So
hold on. Do you attribute that to a little bit of an improvement of the play in the defensive core in front of them this year so far?
Yeah, but it's also to the teams you're playing too. So if you look at they're 10-2 in their last 12 games, the Oilers right now. Yeah. If you look at the teams that they played the Senators 4 times out of those 12.
Yeah,
okay?
There's 4 wins,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at the Canucks. You look at the Flames. Like when I say these teams prior to the season happening, the Canucks. Everybody thought that they were going to have a hell of a year. They played well in the bubble. They made some noise. Unfortunately, they didn't sign some of the guys that were free agents. There's a lot of different noise coming from that team. A lot of players are not happy. They didn't sign Foley. They didn't sign Markstrom. You look at the Calgary Flames. There's talk yesterday that Johnny Hockey might be on the move. So there's a mess there. They might even make a coaching change.
Do they want Letang? Do they want Letang right now?
Hold on. So we don't need any more Smurfs on the Penguins. Goudreau can stay with the Flames. When you go up to that ride and they say you have to be this feet to get on the ride, right? We already have Rusty and Zucker that can't get on the ride. You're going to add Goudreau as well.
Hey, right. So I'll package one of those guys in. So I'm just shifting one shorty for the other, bro.
By all means, if you want to package, I'm keeping Rust. I think Rust's game is more predictable. And
Zucker, I'll pack his bags for him, bro.
Yeah, right.
I'll wrap his lower body up first. Throw an ice pack on it, and I'll drive him out, bro. What do they need?
Yeah. 2 points right in the last 5 games. He's been awful all year. But getting back to the Oilers, so you look at they played the Flames in the last 12 games twice. The Sens 3 times. They played the Sens 4 times. The Leafs they played and they beat them in overtime with McDavid's beauty goal. I definitely think tonight. Austin Matthews is questionable tonight with his wrist injury. Okay.
I think they're starting Jack Campbell too.
Are they? So I was looking forward to this matchup. Grab my my beers and watch the Leafs and Oilers on one TV, but the main TV having the Pens and Isles games.
Right.
But again, Matthews not maybe in the lineup with this injury. I'm hearing like sort of load management stuff happening there. Tonight should have been a game of the top of the North.
Kawhi Leonard, bro. What are we dealing with Kawhi Leonard over here, bro?
Yeah, you got it.
Game season, and you're what is this? His 4th year, and you're load managing, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, what you got to perm the stash before you hit out? What is this guy?
Let's talk about the Leafs for a second, because I know there's a couple guys viewing this right now. One guy. Fab, I know that he's a huge Leaf fan, and he asked me to talk about the Leafs a little bit.
No one's perfect, Fab.
So I'll talk about the Leafs a little bit right now. Again, comeback win the other night. It looked pretty. They were in dire straits there with being down 1-0 again to the Flames, almost being shut out twice by Richie in 2 games, and Nylander scored with that 30 goal at the end, and then a beauty goal in overtime. If I'm a Leaf fan, I have a couple of concerns. Nylander, again, a perimeter player. I go way back to the World Juniors when they played in Canada here at the ACC, and I saw a couple of games with Nylander and the Sweden team, and I said it right there. He's got kids. He has amazing tools. He can skate, but he's perimeter. He's not going to get his nose dirty. And if you need to win in the playoffs, you need to get your nose dirty. And you already have enough talent there with Marner, Matthews, Tavares. You need some grit. Jumbo Joe, at the end of the day, he's going to be in and out of the lineup. He's pretty frail, and He's old, unfortunately. I'm older than him, but he's going to be in and out of the lineup with injuries. And then the goaltending situation.
Show him the pipes, though. You're not old. You're not older.
so with that, I do. If Matthews in the lineup tonight, Leafs win. Leafs win tonight. I'm predicting. Last week I said the Leafs were going to kick Montreal's ass, and they did 5-2. Not that I'm a Leaf fan or whatnot, Fab, but definitely I think the Leafs, if Matthews in the lineup, they're going to win tonight.
And as we continue, now that we're going around the NHL right now, Matt Murray has allowed 5 goals on 30 shots already. He's got a goals against in that game of 9.38 as they're down 5-2 to the Calgary Flames. And then, the Capitals, it's now 3-2. The Flyers have doubled up. It's 2-0 on Buffalo. Something I wanted to pitch to you.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know you talked about Gaudreau in terms of the size, and I totally agree with you. I was just trolling a little bit. Because honestly, the only fit for Gaudreau would be trying him out on the second line. I don't think he's going to work with Sid. And both teams. Do you think the Flames or the Senators, if they keep fizzling out, and I'm throwing it out there, you can call me crazy, do you think either one would be willing to take a haul for one of the Kachucks?
No,
because that would be a perfect fit. They're gritty, they get in your face, and they can score goals.
So you're saying Taylor Hall to?
No. I'm saying one of the Kachucks from either team, because they're both kind of the Calgary and
no.
Where are you going here?
No.
You don't think you could put a package together of Letang, some prospects, and a pick?
No. Both the Chuck brothers are staying where they are. They're Brady. I believe Brady's going to be better than Matthew. He's got a little bit more offensive flair. I see them building around Brady in Ottawa and Matthews. Matthews, Stutzel, or Stutzla. But Matthews, the guy that he's a team guy. They love him there. I can't see them either one of those two getting out. I would go to the Ducks. I would pluck away at the Ducks. No point intended there. I would pluck away at the Ducks. Jordan, for the Penguins right now, this is all. You got 2 years. It's a 2-year window. You have to do it now. Like I said, I know that you don't like him, but I'm all over Getzlaf. If I have to get him, put him in either on right wing or even put him in as a third line center. I think he'd go after that. Or you're
looking for the Billy G revitalization for a run.
Yes, I'm looking for it, but that's what you have to do right now.
I'll take Getzlaf if Gibson's in the package with him.
Right, but that's what you got to look at. You got to look at that, and I think though that with Jari playing the way he is, it's almost a bad thing because now I think the Penguins brass are going to. Oh, we're good. We're good now.
Yeah, but
right?
Or his value is raising.
Right. Yeah. So, do you trade? You put a package together, put Jari and somebody else together, a Letang for Gibson and Getzlaf. Getzlaf is a free agent. He's making 8.5. They'll probably take some of his salary, retain some of his salary for a trade. That's all if Getzlaf wants to, waive his no move trade.
Awesome. Yeah. That's why I wish the Panthers were struggling a little bit because they got a lot of players I'd look at plucking off them if they were struggling.
Yeah, but they're on cruise control. Them Carolina, Tampa Bay.
Carolina's so good and they're so quiet. Like they don't make a peep in terms of people just don't pay attention. I don't know if I ever told you the story, but someone my mother worked with because she used to do a lot of work down in the Carolinas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their last cup, she was in a bar. Buddy, no one even cheered when they won. No one was even paying attention to the TVs, bro. Yeah. They don't, it's a football, it's a football state, right? It's not.
It's not hockey, right?
Yeah.
It's
Sebastian Aho is so special, and they're all missing out so badly, man.
They have a number of young, really talented players that their future is bright there with a couple of, if they can get a really solid goalie, They have a good future there. I like Rod Brindamore as a coach. He wears his heart on his sleeves. He's a player's coach. They play for him, and I think you look at that division. Another team that's creeping up, and not creeping up, but Tampa Bay. Are they going to go on a back-to-back run here? They're playing as well as they are right now, 13-4-1 without Kucherov, which is. But nobody talks about them because they're in Tampa. It's quiet, whatnot. The media outlets here, in TO, it's all about the Leafs. You watch a number of the radio stations. They don't even talk about any of the U.S. teams, any of the U.S. divisions. It's all about the North. It is boring because they're always talking about, the Leafs, the Canucks, the Canadians, and talk about the Canadians making a coaching change. Ducharme now at the wheel. Does that make a difference? I don't think so. Talking to someone today about this, they always go with the French Canadian guy behind the bench. Let's get over that. Find somebody that's actually like Ducharme has a good resume, World Juniors and whatnot, but change it up in Montreal. It's always the same stuff, right? But I'm not a Habs fan. I'm happy they're losing. Hopefully they continue to lose.
I know he's a big name, but there's a couple names on the team. The Sabres too. Would you be inclined to picking, because he's only on a 1-year deal, trying to pry away a guy like Taylor Hall? If you're trying to add a guy in the bottom 6, an Okposo, or even getting a guy like Sam Reinhart?
Okposo, no. Hall and Reinhart for sure. I see them more. Again, rumors are swirling all crazy this week about Taylor Hall. Last week he was saying that there were talks of contract extension. This week there's talks of him. Yeah. There's talks of him being dangled out there. Eichel's a scratch today again, some type of injury. Allmark's out for a number of months. That team is done. They'll be in last place in that division. I thought the Sabres were going to have a better year, and it's Groundhog Day all over again for them.
And then another team that's kind of bottom feeding. And I love this kid, and I think he's quiet. He's had a couple good seasons under his belt. What about heading over to Detroit and trying to get a guy like Anthony Mantha?
Yeah, big boy.
He can put the puck in the net, right?
Yeah, big boy. He can skate. He's got nice hands. He can put the puck in the net. But
because they're not trading Philip Zadina, and that's the only other player I'd want on their team, really.
Well, again, you mentioned it, and Bobby Ryan. You mentioned that last week on our.
Do you think he's washed?
You think he's washed up?
No, I said, do you think he's washed?
No. I like his contract again.
Him and Sid are like this.
What? We almost had him.
Yeah.
What I would say is that if you bring Bobby Ryan in, if I'm managing this team right now, I'm looking at all the contracts that guys are going to become UFAs. Mm-hmm. So you bring him in. Hey, you have nothing to lose. It's a short season. You can move on, right? Just got a message there about a comment. It's coming through right now. There, a couple of them.
Fabio,
yeah.
Great content analysis. Looking forward to more. Paul Santi, Leafs are for real. No joke. One of my mods from my other channel said, just sup, checking out the stream. Love me some hockey. Started watching it more regularly a couple years ago. Every year I got more and more into it. Ready to learn from y'all.
Awesome. So Santi's out there watching us right now. He's a Leaf fan now, I guess.
No one's perfect.
Yeah, that's what happens when he doesn't hang around with me anymore. He becomes a Leaf fan. Right?
Oh, hey, if people are fine with being, I don't know, man. I'm not the type that's gonna root on a loser for 55 years almost. You know what I mean? That's not me. We're creeping up on 60, so. To each their own, my friend.
That's it.
Hey, my football team ain't won since '73, so I feel the pain.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. When you look around, do you see any of these bottom teams selling premium or depreciating assets?
That's a tough question. Depending on what the group looks like going forward, what their plans are, are they looking at, getting younger, getting youth involved, bringing up some prospects. You look at Anaheim, for example. Trevor Zegras played the other night. Love that kid, stud hockey player. You saw him in the World Juniors. He skates around like he played 2 games already, and he's skating around like he's a veteran. A team like that, maybe they're looking to unload some veterans. I think there's going to be teams that are going to unload on some heavy contracts. I don't think the salary cap is going to go up due to the pandemic next year again. And, a lot of teams are cap heavy right now. And I think youth is the way to go. But if you're right there in terms of making a run, you're going to be looking at some of those veterans out there for sure.
Yeah, like just what popped into my head as you were talking was problem we're going to run into is the assets we want to give away, like a Letang comes with a $7.5 million contract. Is a team going to want to offload a guy to take on a guy that's in his mid-30s like that?
Depends though, because like Letang has years left in him. His legs are still going hard, right? You bring him to California, tank top, he's got the flow, he's got the slides on, he's loving life, he's looking good, right? And one team to look at too is now with the coaching change in Montreal, we all know that Letang might want to go back home, right? So who on Montreal would you go after? Is it time for Gallagher to maybe say, okay, you know what? But it's a size issue, but at least he plays with some, the
some
Berkey
balls,
bird, some truculence and some balls. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's 2 places I see Letang going, and that's somewhere hot or back to Montreal. And, you have the Kings too that have a lot of forwards that are young. Velarde, I like him.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to give me a package that's got, Brendan Gallagher, and I want Tyler Toffoli for my bottom 6 too. Let's talk. You know what I mean? And if we want to shore up the goaltending situation a little bit more than what we have, why not take a flyer on a guy like Jake Allen? Because you're not getting Carey Price, and because Jake Allen might not be the same he was, but he's performed at a freaking high level in this league before.
Yeah, they brought Jake Allen to relieve the duties of Carey Price, and right now they're going to need Jake Allen to play well because Carey's not on his game for sure. He said the other day he's overthinking things. I was listening to a radio outlet the other day, and
that's a guy who I'm surprised Carey hasn't said trade me. Like you talk about a guy who's wasted his career, bro.
Right, but I'm going to say this, and I'm sure I've already sort of went hard on the Habs fans today, but Carey Price is an overrated goalie. He hasn't won anything but Olympic gold medal, but
didn't he win a Memorial Cup?
Maybe I'd have to check that, but you could put you could play in that for Team Canada and myself, and we could win gold with that team in front of you, right? Yeah. So, right,
because they're not going to trade a guy like Suzuki, right?
No, and those guys, the young guys, anybody that has those younger players on their roster, they're going to keep them. They're going to move forward.
Or you're going to have to give up a young stud that's NHL ready too,
right?
And it's got to make sense for both teams. Yeah.
There's 2 things. If you're a GM right now, what you're looking at the youth of your team. You're looking at the cap, right? And if you're a Penguins fan, you're looking at guys that are UFAs at the end of the year that can come in, help out, maybe get over that hump. Goaltending is going to be huge here. But
that's why a guy like Taylor Hall is appealing. Yeah, he's $8 million, but
for sure, yeah. Like I would go after Taylor Hall in a heartbeat.
See, here's the thing: he's at $8 million. It's up this year, and if you make a somewhat decent run with him, I'm not saying go win a Stanley Cup, but or he falls in love playing with a Sid or a Gino, it's easier to re-up that guy at a team-friendly cost because of the pandemic. Yeah. You know what I mean? You just got to make him fall in love with the situation, right?
You're right. His skill set's amazing, but there's always one thing in the back of my mind with Taylor Hall, as well as there's another player that constantly has been moving the last few years. His name's Matt Duchene. Okay. And we've always talked about this guy offline, but it just seems everywhere he goes, they lose. Like Duchene just seems to be like losing follows him. If you look at Taylor Hall, he was successful in Edmonton point wise, individually stats. But if you look at, he won, I believe it was the Hart Trophy with New Jersey a couple of years back. They really didn't make any noise. Then he gets traded to Arizona. And then he signs with Buffalo. Like, why would you sign with Buffalo? They had no chance of winning the cup. So is he after money or is he after a Stanley Cup? And right. So to me is, a guy like that, skill set in the world, but I don't know. I just, it depends. They retain the salary. You get your top six forward. Maybe, like you said, he gets chemistry. But remember what I said in the beginning of this show, guys, is that, and Jordan, is if you put him with Sid, Sid does not like those fast wingers. Right?
He's more Malkin fit.
Right. He's more of a Malkin fit. So, but definitely that would improve the top six immensely.
Yeah.
Right?
But let's be honest, it would also get, let's be honest, he has not been the same player since he lost James Neal. Right.
But again, here we go. We're singing Kumbaya, and I got to bring up my friend, right? Like, because he's up again.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just
no. You're right. But
you show the Ghostbuster, brother.
Yeah. Because again, it comes down to this Penguins team. Always friendships. Listen, man, you can go meet James Neal and Whitby and go for a beer, no problem, when you're in town playing the Leafs when the pandemic's over, right? But get over that. Get over it. Like, you have to move on. And, like, there's still some, crying about, Marc-Andre Fleury leaving. Whatever, man. Like, you're right, though. Gino's never had that winger since the real deal. James Neal left town.
That's the whole sad thing about, and I go back to Sid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Gensel's a product of our system, right? Like, my whole issue is they've never ever gone balls deep, other than with Hossa, of trying to find that guy who's not the perfect fit, but a great enough fit that can elevate Sid's game itself. And if I was Sid, I wouldn't even be pissed off about losing my friends. I'd be pissed off that you're trading all these people and all this talent and these assets, and what have you done for me?
Yeah, but again, Sid's a tough player to play with, Jordan. He really is. He's a picky player to play with. Again, you have to have that hockey IQ to play with Sid. You have to be ready at all times on the ice when Sid has the puck. You have to have your stick on the ice. You need to go in those white areas, those dirty areas. You need to get open. Sid's all about puck possession, right? And he's picky. So do I think that, a top six forward or somebody that's outstanding like a Taylor Hall can be a good fit with Sid? That's up in the air. If you look at Marian Hossa played similar to Sid's game. He had that big ass, big legs, sort of that Jagger style, back to the play,
smart player
on the boards, smart player, hockey IQ, give and goes. Taylor Hall, north-south, right?
Yeah.
Sid's east-west, north-south. You just got to sort of watch out for that, right? So I would be thinking more. Listen, Sid's had success with no-name players, and I'm not saying Dupuis no-name, Chris Coon, but they're not top six players. Yeah. He's made them into top six players playing with them. Mm-hmm. What I would be looking for to upgrade this team is the second line and on.
Okay.
Right? You look at that. You bring back Russ with Jake and Sid. That line seems to get it going, right? Kapanen moves down with Malkin for the speed factor. Who's that fit on the other side? Is it Zucker, whatever you want to call him? I don't think so. I think Zucker's a third line player.
Agreed.
Okay. And then you look at the, from the second line on.
Yeah. All right, brother. We're almost about to hit the hour and a half mark. So let's get some final thoughts you got before we get out of here.
Yeah. So tonight's game, hockey night, on Saturday. I love hockey nights on Saturday. I remember growing up as a kid, watching it with my grandfather and my mom and my grandmother, getting, pizza or whatnot and having a great time and watching those games.
What are you eating tonight, bro? What are you eating tonight?
Well, I think I'm going to have a nice steak on the BBQ and the beers are already cold, maybe a bottle of wine as well to watch the Penguin Islanders game.
You might need it.
I might need it for sure. And then finish it off with a couple of shots of Fireball just for good old sake. But looking at the games tonight, Toronto and Edmonton, I think Santy's rooting for those Leafs for sure because he thinks they're for real. So and Fab as well, a Leaf fan. So Edmonton, Toronto, big game in the Central with Carolina and Florida, as well as let's see what Montreal does tonight. Can they rebound and get a win against Winnipeg? And a lot of good games out there. Looking forward to it. And one last thing before we go, just to make sure we know where we're at. So we're all about the Penguin fans, okay? Here, all right, on Pens and Pucks. So Santy, you see that finger to you there, bud? Okay. All right.
All right, guys. We'll be back next week for another episode of Pens and Pucks. Until then, hope all you puck heads have a good Saturday night and enjoy the slate of hockey that is on the schedule tonight, guys.